know what? Today, the biggest value we're putting forward this Friday holiday launch for the serious super fans who want to join us and just, wish us well as we do the same for you and share some grace for the year and the season and just a little bit of joy, man, and good speaking. That's what today's episode's about. And if that helps you in some way fill your cups, then I think we're true to this, mastering sales, simplifying pricing, and delivering premium level service, especially if it helps you pass some cheer on to those you care about. Hello, hello, hello. Happy holidays and welcome back. This is another episode of Electripreneur Secrets. And today we're talking to you a little bit about launching the holidays, man. I'm your host, Clay Newmeyer. With me, as always, my co-host, esteemed co-host, Joseph Lucani. We're the Electripreneurs, just a couple of master electricians with business addictions. And right now, more like a Bailey's addiction. I know you don't do the alcohol, Joe, but it's kind of like a Bailey's addiction here for the holidays. I'm setting it up right, man. You know what? Today, the biggest value we're putting forward this Friday holiday launch for the serious super fans who want to join us and just, wish us well as we do the same for you and share some grace for the year and the season and just a little bit of joy, man, and good speaking. That's what today's episode's about. And if that helps you in some way fill your cups, then I think we're true to this, mastering sales, simplifying pricing, and delivering premium level service, especially if it helps you pass some cheer on to those you care about. Joe, how are you feeling today, brother?
So I like to say that I'm feeling blessed, but today particularly more so than ever. And you mind if I kind of explain why?
Of course, man. Hit it.
So in this episode, I remember we were talking about what are we grateful for? Like, what are we really grateful for sharing? What are we grateful for brought into the world? And why do we feel like we're making an impact? And this one really kind of made me almost tear up in a way, because when I first started off, I was 22 years old and there weren't any electrical coaches. Obviously, I learned from HVAC coaches and I learned from plumbing coaches and I learned from multi-trade coaches, but there wasn't anyone like us. There were no electricians teaching electricians. It was always, well, this will work for electric too. This will work for electric as well. Electrician should try this, so says the HVAC guy. I wish that I had someone like we are back then. I truly, truly do. And I've come to the conclusion there's really only two people in this world. There's the kind that says, well, I had to go through it, so you should too. And I had to go through it, and I'll make sure you don't have to. And the thing that I'm most grateful for this year is to say that for the electrician that really wants to make a go of things, but just felt that they didn't have the guide, I am so grateful to have given it away for free. You could have logged into this podcast every single day of the year, and I guarantee you would have been a better provider than you were when you first started 230 episodes ago.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And you know what? Speaking of, that many episodes ago, episode 226 right now, we'll be 230 by the end of the year, right? So, yeah, it's a lot. But when I reflect back, even on what you just said, in the first episode, there was a really special interview with a really special dude named Guillermo Castillo. Mm-hmm. And that's really where these humble beginnings still was really in the infancy of this, working through the residential electrical business services group with Lloyd Mills. And I knew at that time when I first started that, 2.5 years ago now, working with Lloyd a bit and exploring, how could we just help electricians specifically? Because before that, honestly, Joe, like many electricians have had this feeling at times, I kind of, for a minute, like maybe a year or two, I almost like painted the industry with the same brush, with that same frustration that you're speaking of, but almost feeling like, what part could I have in that? Like as a questioning our own ability to do this. Mm-hmm. And I only say that because a vulnerable moment that I want to share with so many people, because I know we all have these moments. And you might hear it claimed as imposter syndrome or not shining, our light, not bringing our brightness forth, not having faith in ourselves and our abilities. But that first episode of this podcast was actually really, really, really important. Would it be all right if I explained why?
By all means, I would love it.
At that time, it was rise to rise, right? Bit of a play on alternating current, but also just like, double entendre, like service loop electrical and that little bit extra for future serviceability. It was about rising the tides, as we speak about so often, because this race to the bottom is so prevalent in this trade. But even in saying that, in this consulting space, in the training space for the trades, there's a lot of activity happening these days to try to help tradespeople improve their businesses. And when Guillermo came forward, he just said, Clay, I would love to be a guest, but we should do a podcast. You should really have a podcast. Go beyond the Rebs Facebook group. And at that time, I've just been someone, Joe, who always, I could just see doors opening and I just walk through them. That's just how I am. It's uncomfortable, but I do it anyways. Fear appears, but I do it anyways. That was one of my written affirmations for a long time. And so when Guillermo said that, it was a magical moment where I said, okay, this is the time now. This marks the beginning of the podcast era. I wanted one. I knew we needed to do this. But right around that same time was the time that you reached out through a post. It was just before that, actually. So I asked Guillermo because Guillermo, quite honestly, in the background, Guillermo was with 2 other coaching companies. I think he was with SPG, maybe still, doing great things there, and then as well, Certain Path. And we have no shame in sharing this. We don't throw sand, guys. I want to hear all of your wins from all of your coaches to better understand how we serve too, right? So there's no shame in this. But for a guy that had 2 current commitments in coaching enterprises, I asked him flat out, Guillermo, where do you see me in this space? Like, why do you want to do this interview? You've already got all this help. Why do this? And he said this statement about the moth to the flame and how, I'm the light to this industry. And Joe, you join forces and we've become this important light to this industry. Because what I didn't realize at the time until we came together and began to manifest everything that is today in this vision is that as much as I was worried about there already being too much service for electricians, there was fucking none, man.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really
Exactly.
just serving the electrician. That's the epiphany. I'm sorry to interrupt your flow there, man. Jump in there. Get excited with me.
No, I didn't mean to jump in. It was more like everyone seems to think that they can't help it. And as a result, no one helps it. I remember going and working with anyone, like every coach I could work with. None of them were electricians. I would watch YouTube videos before YouTube was really even a thing. I was online looking at things. I was reading books. Like I was doing everything I could, and none of it was geared for electrical. So, what I'm grateful for is to simply say that you don't have to take the 7 years that it took for me to figure this out. You don't have to, because we've already put the path in. We already wrote it in stone. It's already ahead of you. I'll freaking roll out the red carpet. I want other people to walk the path so that they don't have to climb through the obstacles that I had to climb. And I know that electrical's worth it. I know that electricians are worth it. We're worth it. So what's stopping people from wanting to help electricians? It's that same thought of saying, well, what can I do to help? Well, if you can't help, then get out of the way, because help is coming.
Oh, I love that, man. Are you in or are you in the way?
Mm-hmm.
And we could all ask ourselves that a little bit, especially with the topics of this week and the great interview with the stud yesterday, Alan. Absolutely love that dude.
Alan's awesome, hands down.
And I'm sure you recognized moments in that story where, he was in the way of himself. This happens. We get in the way of ourselves. It's why we still have mentorship and constantly seeking out clarity of our own situation, because when you're just in the midst of things, there could be people tuning in right now, Joe, that have had their head down and barely even recognize that it's Christmas next week, that the holidays are here, that the year is about to end again. And when they look up, they could be seeing one of a few things. They could be terrified by the sight, or they might even be incredibly proud of just what has transpired, what's come to be that they've barely even noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, this is a come up for air moment to recognize what's around you, to gain some clarity, right? Because really complexity is the enemy of execution. Generalizations kill clarity. And in every day, I have to keep telling myself those messages because it happens to us on the daily too. It's actually one of the things I've really enjoyed about having a partner in all this. You know, it's lonely at the top and heavy is the head that wears the crown. And as much as so many people say, hey, the fastest sinking ship is a partnership, man, there's some big upsides. There's some big upsides when you find someone that complements you with a different set of strengths, and at the same time, all the while very overlapping and well joined, brothers. So I appreciate you in this moment too, and I want to thank you for everything you've brought to this enterprise, but to the electricians listening to this right now.
Well, thank you, man. That really does mean the world. And I wanted to say to add to that, I feel like 2023 has been the best year of my life. We created a way for electricians to get help. I found one of my best friends and a person I consider to be a brother. We forged an amazing business that's been growing without a cent of marketing ever put into it. I found in my own personal, like found through my own religious walk, I found my own path. My relationships with my family have been great. Like things are good. And the thing is you wouldn't have gotten where you are, and I wouldn't have gotten where I was or am if we don't at least open the door. It's one thing to see the door. It's another thing to grab the handle, but it's another to be willing to walk past it and say, even if something on the other side is scary, I'm still willing to take the risk. And I'm glad that you took the risk with me, man, because
Yeah,
the future is really bright.
I appreciate that. I love what we're doing, and it's only growing. Let's go ahead and speak next year into existence a little bit.
I can't wait. What you got for me?
There's been about one or two people I've mentioned this to on the strategy calls we've been on in the last week. But in 2024, as you know, Joe, there are plans to set a date for the first electricians only premium service summit.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to do a live event finally. It's been a big calling. It's going to likely be very small and intimate at first. Again, the details are coming. The vision is not entire here, but from the positive feedback we've had so far, I can't see us not doing it. And I can see it becoming a massive piece that electricians get to be proud of every year. We get to attend, where the culture is very much this value forward, heart on the sleeve brothership. And
Mm-hmm. There's a reason we call people brother, and this is one of them. We're all electricians. We are all of the same kind of people. We're all from the same background. Everyone's holding a pair of lineman pliers made by Klein in their back pocket, or Southwest, depending what you're into. But the fact is that there will be a place for electricians to go where we can interact with you guys personally, and we can specifically and personally aid your growth. And you don't have to feel like another number sitting in the crowd, wondering if when the speaker finishes talking, if any of it applied to you.
yeah, man, that's what I see too. And a very much a engaging, like even if me personally, if I'm speaking and I know you're the same way, it's the very same reason we created a program that's got 5-day-a-week Q&A calls on various subjects, because it's been so powerful. It's a full immersion is what it is. And honestly, that I would say right here on this tangent is going to be one of the most underrated things probably in my entire life, but it's probably so responsible for a lot of my growth in life. And what I've been able to do is honestly French immersion for 4 or 5 years. 5 years, I think I did. It's so freaking uncomfortable to speak another language and be forced to.
Mm-hmm.
To not know what people are saying, to have to work hard just to understand, and to work hard just to be perceived in a certain way. But that uncomfortability and getting used to that, I think, is maybe the biggest secret in life.
Exposure to uncomfortability is almost like peeling the layers of bark. Underneath, you never know what the tree is until you see what it is.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's really
Right.
good. Anyways, this is 15 minutes of grace, recapping the year, kicking off the holidays. I'm just what do we got? I've got some in-laws, big dinner. I'm super pumped about that. I love visiting the in-laws, having a good time. And then just a nice little Christmas with family, Joe. No big vacation plans. How about you, brother?
This is going to be an interesting year, actually, and I'm going to share something personal. So I've had a particular relationship with my family, and this is the year and the first year in a very, very, very long time where me, my siblings, and my parents will actually have Christmas together again.
Wow, man. That's super exciting. I'm really happy for you guys.
It's going to be something. Let's just say that it's going to be a lot of feels happening that day.
That's awesome. And guys, if you're with us live right now, then feel free to share something about your holidays, some grace for your year, and what you're looking forward to in the next year. We're going to touch into that next year, of course, again at the end of next week. We've got Monday and Tuesday, Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day in Canada. Is Tuesday a formal holiday in the States?
I mean, it depends on whether you're a drinker or not. Because I mean, a lot of times people take that extra day just to sit on the couch and go, "Why the eggnog? Why?" But no, no, an official federal holiday? No, it's not.
We call it Boxing Day, and Service Loop Electrical is going to honor the Canadian roots here on that day. We're going to be office closed Monday and Tuesday. No podcast. We decided not even to pre-record them. We're actually going to play a couple of our favorite replays from back when we were visiting in New York there and got to record some live ones,
Those are
just
good ones.
like this Monday. And then New Year's Day again will be a fourth replay. As we mentioned the other day, 4 total replays, 230 episodes for the year. I can't wait to dive into that next Friday. So you guys will be here with you again Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of Christmas week to help you master your sales, simplify your pricing, and deliver premium level service. Again, engage with us in the Facebook group chat here. Let us know how your holiday plans are going to shape up. Let us know what you're grateful for this year, and let us know what you're looking forward to in next year. Otherwise, we're going to see you again next week.
Can't wait to see you soon. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Cheers, Joe.